Okay, let's get to UK politics now, because the UK Labour Party has geared up with its policies of, well, the next generation. Next election is nearing now. It's set to announce a new security task force to target the contractors linked to hostile foreign powers such as China. Now, this is a joint initiative by Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper and the Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves. The new body will aim to anticipate risks to UK national security. Now, the task force will look into the dependency of foreign contractors in public acquisition. Now, the task force comes after the UK Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden described China as the largest state-based threat to the UK's economy. The Labour speech also comes after the revelations that police in England and Wales are incapable of spying due to their reliance on Chinese-made technology, and also after the row over Huawei's 5G contract across the UK. Now, later today, in a speech, Shadow Home Secretary Cooper is expected to explain how the economic security and national security can work together. Now, apart from this, the new Labour Department will also money laundering, organised criminals and individuals connected to state threats. The members of the task force will include ministers, members of the security services, the National Crime Agency and business people as well, all together working. Now, according to the National Crime Agency, around $15.7 billion of criminal cash is demonstrated and generated in the UK, and around hundreds of billions of pounds of money is laundered every single year. Well, we have our London correspondent Alex Isaac with us now to give us some of the detail, because some of these numbers in terms of billions we're talking about with reference to money laundering, it's quite worrying and also mind-boggling as well, and certainly something that needs to be addressed.
Well, yes, you are correct there, but it has been addressed a couple of times. Obviously, Yvette Cooper is going to say in her speech that they believe that Labour should be having a task force to deal with the issues surrounding not just China, but any other hostile nation that wants to buy property or have investment within the UK. But as well, earlier this week, Oliver Dowden, he said, a Conservative Party member, that him and the government have already stopped a number of Chinese companies from buying up property and market space within the UK already. So those things have been going on. But of course, China has recently been in the press a lot more with regards to the secret police stations that we've been hearing about, with the constant remarks in the Commons that they are behaving underhanded, and of course those red notices from Interpol with regards to those defectors from Hong Kong. So there are a lot of issues surrounding this, rather than just all this money laundering. But it's not just China, let's make that clear. There are a lot of hostile nations as well. Actually, not just hostile nations. There are generally a lot of money laundering going on, which has been going on for decades. But it comes down to how the government is going to face it. Labour, not long ago, in fact last year, one of their own MPs did take a £500,000 bung, which is what it was called at the time. And there are a lot of these kind of cases that many people within the UK public are confused with regards to who's giving money and how is it all going to be uncovered. Because when it comes down to the marketplace and the financial marketplace, there are a lot of other countries that have a great interest in not just the pound, but also the city here as well. So there does feel at the moment that this is another point to be made when it comes to looking towards the elections, that both Labour and the Conservatives are trying to battle from within to ensure that the UK has its own rules and regulations going forward. And I doubt this will be the last we hear of those financial institutes and property as well from both sides.
Well, you mentioned there, of course, we've got voters going to the polls on Thursday this week. There's 3 by-elections happening. This will be a major test for Rishi Sunak and his authority. We're talking about security today, Alex. Do you think that this is something that people will be thinking about when they go to the polls?
I think generally the population is quite frustrated with the way of politics. There has been a lot of this tit for tat within the current government. And when it comes down to security issues, I'm not 100% sure that that is atop on a lot of people's complaints. They are seeing this immigration influx, which is being a real problem. They're seeing a lot of money, taxpayers' money going abroad. And of course, the cost of living crisis is still something that continues onwards. So when it comes to those who are going to the polls, and let's not forget, every time that we do have an election, whether it's a by-election or even a general election, the numbers that are going to those polls are getting fewer and fewer. It does seem that there is a kind of dissonance between people and the politics. There are a lot of those that just think, well, I can't see that the government is doing anything for me, whether or not it needs a new government or it's just going to be the same but different. It does feel at the moment that people just want their day-to-day situation sorted rather than these huge issues. And of course, these huge issues are going to be a focus when we're looking forward to the future, because these are long-term plans. But I do feel that a lot of the UK public wants short-term changes now. One of those would be the 5 promises that Rishi Sunak did make. None of those yet have come into fruition, and those are the things that the people are wanting right now.
Yeah, quite right. And as we say, those 3 by-elections are taking place this week. We will be covering them here on WION World as one. Alex, thank you so very much indeed, our London correspondent for us there, talking about this new task force and security here in the UK.